Greater Manchester bus drivers are just striking a pay row. We're going to read into this more from the BBC, you guys. So it says that more than 2,000 bus drivers in Greater Manchester are set to strike and cause a major disruption to the network, the Transport Workers Union has said. Now, this is actually the Bees network since it was set up by Andy Burdon, the Greater Manchester Mayor, and those around it, has been a really, really good thing. I've heard from people who are not far from Manchester, people around it have been a really good success. It's been really, really helpful for them, the Bee network and this bus network, that they've taken under public ownership. Now, obviously, this is about pay, specifically when it comes to these drivers, and obviously unions are obviously looking to earn enough pay to be able to make themselves a decent living, of course, and that's what this is about. Now, as you guys know, and I shouldn't need to tell you this, but I'm going to be repeating this always, councils and cities and whatnot, they only have so much budgets that they can keep to. We also know that austerity also played a part into crippling a huge amount of funding that they used to have. Also, on top of Brexit, that also hampered things as well. And it's difficult to count the pennies, and they really do have to count the pennies. Every single city, every single council, every single administration has to count its pennies. Really has to here. But of course, bus drivers need to be able to earn a living as well, and need to be able to earn a decent living. And we know that many people out there are just not able to live off especially a single person is able to live off the living that they're earning, even on the bare minimum wage. It's just not viably possible. But let's read more into this, guys, before we make assumptions on taking sides. So the Unite trade union said drivers working for various operations under the publicly controlled Bee network have rejected the pay offer ranging between 3.5 and 6% following months of negotiations. Okay, so they've been negotiating for several months. Okay. Unite said members working for Stagecoach, Metroline and First Batch Rochdale have voted to take action over the weekend on the 19th and 22nd of September. Unite's regional office Colin Hayden said, Unite remains open to negotiations with the bus companies who need to return to the negotiating table with an improved offer. With so many bus drivers across the Bee network walking out of this at once, this will be a highly disruptive strike and it will bring parts of Greater Manchester to a standstill. Transport for Greater Manchester said it was monitoring the situation closely. Bus operators are responsible for the pay and conditions of the staff, and the specifics of any talks is a matter for them and the relevant trade union, it said. Our priority is to keep Greater Manchester moving. The union said its members working for Stagecoach and Metroline rejected a pay increase of 3.5%, as it doesn't address years of low pay, especially in the context of the cost of living crisis. This is what I just said about the cost of living crisis, didn't I? It has about 1,000 members working for each company. So Matt Davis from Stagecoach said the company would continue to work towards a resolution and was preparing contingency plans if the drivers didn't go ahead with unnecessary strike action. Metroline said its drivers would have been the best paid outside London if the offer had been accepted, and it would also continue working to find a solution. Members at First Batch Rochdale felt a pay offer of 6% didn't go far enough to address the fact that they have been the lowest paid in the region for years on £15 an hour, the union says. Now, the bus company's general manager, Paul Townley, said the offer they made was well above inflation. He said, "We are disappointed in the decision of Unite to announce strike action. The management team have been working hard to find a solution to help our valued drivers during these tough economic times." And he said the industrial action was not the way forward and that the company was willing and ready and willing to continue discussions so that we can finalise a settlement. Now, it's entirely possible that by the time I hear this, it's possible that perhaps many of these situations can get resolved. But I also want to point out something which is very, very important here, is that there is only so much budgets that can be paid to bus drivers. And I'm not saying that it's fair, because it's not. I think everyone deserves a massive uplift in terms of their pay, because right now the gap is in terms of paying for your bills, being able to pay for a cost of living, it's just not enough in comparison to most people's average wages. It's just not. The gap is just too wide. If you are a single person, you are screwed. If you're in a couple, you have a chance, depending on what kind of job you have. But it's tough out there for a lot of people to get by. It really, really is. And that's essentially where they're coming from, Unite. They're looking at this from a point of view of there's a cost of living. Many drivers in their position, they feel that they are not earning enough money and they need to earn more. And even if the pay seems decent, the offers are seeming different, there needs to be a much bigger boost. This is also the same reason why the National Healthcare Service are doing why you have parts of people still on strike in the NHS, because of the situation they are when it regards to pay, because the levels of pay are just not the same as they used to be. The gap is far too wide, and this is another case of that situation. So in turn, while I do have sympathy with those trying to negotiate with them, I also have great sympathy with the drivers as well. So it's not a case of me like attacking one side or another. It really is the government, not just the mayoral offices and all, but the actual Westminster government needs to do something when it comes to the budgets, at the budget, to do something about increasing pay for people. That's something they need to be looking into if we want to help get out of this cost of living crisis. It's not just a case of growing the economy. You know, getting ordinary people, being able to get them decent wages will help a long way to doing that. But what do you guys make of the situation around bus drivers here in Greater Manchester? Well, not here, but in Greater Manchester going on strike. Do you have sympathy for them? Do you have sympathy for the mayor, for the Manchester mayor and those who have to negotiate with them? Do you have a sympathy for both sides in this? Because my main blame is really on the Conservatives and the cutting of austerity more than anything. But you let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below, what you think of this situation. Now, if you found this video interesting and informative, hit the like button, share it across social media, subscribe if you haven't already. Do check out Rumble and Patreon for exclusive content as well. And if you want to financially support me and the work that I do here on this channel, you can do so by becoming a YouTube member for as little as 99p. So thank you all so much for watching, and I hope to catch you all very, very soon.